This is Doron, and today I'm going to show you a game called HAVOC. It's a game for 2 to 4 players. Scales very well at every player count, and I hope I'm going to make this game justice, showing you how to play this game in the most simplified way and as quickly as possible. There's a lot going on, even though this is a very simple game in my opinion. Like I said, there's a lot going on. Now, when you play 2 players, you actually use the other side of the board, which is specifically for 2 players. 3 and 4, you would play this board, this side of the board, and I had it already set up for 3 players. Now there are 4 factions in this game where at the 4-player count, each player takes control of 1 faction. At 3-player count, everybody takes control of a faction, while this faction, and I'll explain momentarily, is quasi-automated, and same at the 2-player count, 2 people take control of factions, and this is going to be like a 3rd faction, quasi-automated. Now, the point of the game is to score the highest. Obviously, in the end of the game, whomever has the most points wins the game. Normally the game will go through 5 rounds, but it is possible for the game to take less rounds than that. Now each round, every player will have the opportunity to do 3 excuse me, 3 and 3 actions only. So if you do play for the full 5 rounds, for the most part you would have 15 actions to take. So to actually accomplish something in this game in 15 actions only makes this game somewhat strategic. Let me take a look here and see where I would start. So the board is set up in this way, where you see this is a planet actually, and it's separated into certain regions. Now, scoring works is by controlling certain areas and the amount of crystals that you have in your controlled areas. Each round is broken into several phases. I'll jump into explaining the game. I probably won't cover everything. This is really just to give you a certain idea, and I think the best would be just to start explaining everything. As you can see, there are 3 factions here, plus the 4th one, as I mentioned. The yellow one is the, I believe is the human faction. Here we have the pilgrims, there we have the machines, and these are the trogs. In a 4-player game, the trogs will have also a setup similar to this. Now, I won't zoom in at the moment, but this is basically a board that shows the round order as well as actions that are possible. To the left of the board, there's a skill card that is added to this player as well as other players, that can be used on a player's turn once per round. To the right of this board, there are what we call the structures, where a player can build them on the board and using their advantage. I'll see how time goes by. I might get over the explanation of some of these structures. So like I said, I'll start explaining the game by actually playing the game, and hopefully this will make sense to you. Here we have the initiative order, which conveniently I place the first spot, yellow, blue and red, but this is really determined randomly. Underneath you have the upcoming initiative, which means during the game you have the opportunity to manipulate the order of the initiative, and on the next round this initiative will be adjusted accordingly, and that's the way of changing initiative order. The first thing that we do in each round is reveal events. We have 5 events that we reveal at the beginning of each round. If it happens that a player's score tokens passes an event that was not yet revealed, this event is being stacked on top of the next event, which basically what means is that there will be one less round in the game. So let's just go by the first phase of the run is revealing an event, which is this one here. And this event would say every player draws one terrain tactic card, and I'll explain that a little bit later, really what it means. But what I want to show you here, which I should have done at the beginning, every location which is obviously has this border has crystals in it. It has a terrain type here, and here we have the trogs counters, which means as soon as I enter an area with a trog counter, I will reveal, and typically that indicates that we need to add a number of trogs into the space where it is. That's kind of like an element surprise in the game. When you play, you don't know what you will encounter. There are also exploration tokens, which indicated here, and they're basically bonus. These are good things. When you enter a space, these are good things. Also, each player has their headquarter, where they start with 4 miniature, which by the way are pretty neat. But you can add more from your reserve into your headquarter and basically sprawl all around. And remember, like I said, the goal of the game is scoring based on areas you control plus crystals that you have in your areas. Now each player has a deck of cards where they will draw cards from and place those, and I'll explain momentarily what those means. After the event, we have the updating of the initiative. Like I said, if this is in any different order, then this is the phase where we're actually adjusting the initiative accordingly, but we'll keep it like that, and obviously that hasn't changed. The next thing is refresh skills, and what does that mean? When I use a certain skill that I have here, I basically tap it and I rotate 90 degrees, and which means I've used it and can no longer use it in a round, and this is the phase where I actually refresh it. Now, next in the phase is drawing 4 cards that I have taken, and I can use them in any way that I want. And now we're moving into the action phase. Each round has 3 actions that every player can take. 1 action on your turn. After everybody has done with 1 action, we move this marker, the round action, to the second action that everybody will do, then to the third. And after the third, if there are any battles on the planet, that's the phase where we'll resolve them, and which after that will move to a scoring phase, which is possible to happen if any player has initiated or enabled the scoring. I'll touch that momentarily, but I'd like to show you the anatomy of a card. For example here, let me see if I can zoom on that. Alright, so this one here is a card that belongs to the human faction. I hope this is zoomed. Yep, there you go. Now, the card has basically the name on here, some graphic, certain actions that you can tag. It depends on what time of the game. And then there's 3 types of icons. The top icon, it looks like an arrow. It basically indicates movement. The second icon, this is recruitment, where you can bring your miniatures from the reserve into your headquarters. And the third one is actually building and activating buildings. Now, on my turn, I have certain actions that I can do, and one of them is taking as many cards as I want from my hand. Let's say these ones, or let's use these ones, and then I can use these cards for several things. I can use them for a movement action, I can use them for building, and here I don't have in these cards the ability, but I can combine them and use them basically for building and activating structures if I had this. So let's say I decide to use a movement action on this turn. I have total of 5 movement points, and then I would move the miniatures that I have into certain locations, or I can combine the recruitment points and add miniatures to my headquarters. Now let me show you a movement action here. Let me see, hopefully this is focuses. Yep, that focused. A movement action, I am going to use 5 points which means I can move my figures here. I can take one and basically move it 5 locations, 5 regions, even though this is an illegal movement at the moment. Or I can take 3 and move them to one location, plus 1 move to another spot. Or I can do this, 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 and that. Basically moving to adjacent regions. Now, the reason I cannot move farther than one spot is because I do not have control over the adjacent regions just yet. If I move to a region, to an area that has trog tokens, these guys, or any other enemy unit, I must stop. So now, I have total of 5 movement points. Let's say that I would like to move 2 here, or let's say even 3. Let's ignore the moment that I had total of 5 movement points and I moved only 3. As soon as I move into an area where there's, like I said, a trog token or any other enemy units, I must stop, and basically a battle has occurred in this location. But before that happens, since there's an exploration token, I get to take that and look at it. And this one indicates place 2 crystals in any region. So that's a good thing. I can take that and place it in any region that I want. Let's add them here. Now, by the way, crystals, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, 1 green crystal equals 1 point, victory points at the end. A red one equals 3, and a yellow equals 5. So basically I can replace all of these 5s with a yellow crystal. Now, once I got here, now I reveal the trog token, and it says place 3 trog and 3 crystals in this region. Ooh, this region is becoming quite valuable and quite valuable and quite dense at the moment. And as you can see, I'm getting into a battle here with these guys, 3 against 3. Now, since I'm still in my movement action, I can add more units into this space. Normally, once a battle begins, you can no longer move, but I'm still in my movement actions. Now, once a situation like that has occurred, I take what's called a battle token, I place it on this region, and I place one of my units on top to indicate that I am the attacker. And now, this area is considered locked, which means nobody can go in, nobody can leave out. There's one exception, that if I would have invaded a location of another player, that player on his turn can use a movement action to move these people out. And the way that it works, in my opinion, normally cannot happen, but in the excess of twice of my units that I brought in, let's say 4 in this case, then I can move few of the units out, which means if I have 4 in there, then in the excess of 8, I can move these units out. So if I had, let's say, 10 of my units here of the defending unit, I can move 2 out. Hope that makes sense. If not, that's not a big deal. That's not the major deal in this game. Now, this is locked. I completed my action. Now remember, if there are 5 rounds in this game, and in each round you have 3 actions, I just finished my first action and I have 14 more actions throughout the game. Again, if the rounds remain at number 5. Now we move to the blue guy. And the blue guy here, this is the pilgrims. They can do similar stuff. Now each card have different type of well, they have the same icons, but there are some different icons. I'm not gonna get into detail with that. I'm just gonna give you the impression of this game. Let's say that this guy is gonna is also gonna use 3 points to move, and let's say they're gonna move 1 here. Now this region, there's nothing in there. There's no trog, there are no enemy units, there's just an exploration token. I reveal the exploration token and it says draw 2 cards from your deck. Well, that's a good thing. I draw 2 cards and I add it to my deck. Okay, now since this region is unoccupied at the moment. I place a control token on there, and this is my region now, which I can score on since I control that. And I'm done with this turn, with this action. Now the red player will go through the same similar thing, and once everybody took one turn, we move into the next turn, then we can do other things. Now let's progress here and just cheat a little bit here. Let's imagine that these guys have been resolved, there was a battle and they won. It's their turn. They can use the icons at the bottom. I believe I've showed that. They can use, let's say, 4 to build a structure. Now I'm not going to go over the structure in very detail. I'm just going to show the action of building. To build a building, it takes 2 building icons. To activate, it takes an extra icon. So I have total of 4. So I can basically locate a building here. I have 2 left. I can activate it. The only thing, each building in each region on a certain action can be activated only once. I can activate that, and this specific building benefit is add 1 crystal from the supply to this region. Woohoo! So at scoring, I just increased my ability to score. Now, here's what's going to happen. Let's imagine that we went through 3rd actions. The next phase is resolving battles, and as we know, there's a battle here. Now let's imagine there are no trogs here, just for the sake of showing what's going on here. Let's say there's these 3 guys here, these 3 plus 4 of mine. We have a very nice board, which has disappeared from my eyesight at the moment. Where is the board? It is right here. Okay. This is a special way of resolving a battle, and I'm going to bring it to the camera closer to focus on this. So, there are no dice here, there's no fight per se, but a battle here is broken into objectives. Objective of taking control over a region, objective of capturing prisoners, and the objective of actually killing enemy. And if you capture a prisoner, you score on that. If you kill an enemy, you score on that. If you gain control over an area, you score on that. I'm going to put it down to explain everything, but let's try and remember the top one is gaining control, second taking prisoners, and the third is killing. I'll explain that in a little bit more detail. Now, the attacker obviously goes first. I'm going to put the board here. Hopefully everything will make sense. So the first things that we do, the attacker grabs his unit and he spreads his units, these units, on this board's objectives anywhere they want. Before we get into a battle, the first phase of the battle is adding a crystal to this region, hence making it a little bit more valuable. Now, I have the opportunity to place, we place the miniature, the attacker on this side of the board, the defender on that side. I can, for example, place all of my units here. I can place like that. I can place like this, any way that I find fit, but obviously I want to try and strategize it in a certain way that will benefit me. Just for sake of game, and again, no planning, no strategy, I'll do this. Once I place those, it's the opponent's turn to go. Now, these guys, the trogs, by the way, if I was fighting them, which I should have, the player to the left of me would act as the trog in this battle against me. So, this guy, the blue, takes his guys, and he decides, alright, if I place all of my 3 here, alright, we have equal numbers, and this first objective is determining who's going to gain control over this spot. In case of a tie, the defender wins, so I can place that there. Let's imagine that we place that here like that. We go and resolve objectives from order from top to bottom, unless there is a modifier that there is that actually change the order of objective resolution. But here we have these 3 defenders versus 3 attackers. There is a tie since there is still the same number of tokens. Now, I should have put a token here of the blue, imagining that the blue guys are actually here controlling here when we attack them. So this means that the blue people have won since there's a tie, a defender wins. Nothing happens here. I'll use an example to show what's going on here. And then the last thing is the attacker here has a unit here and he lets it kill a unit, any unit from anywhere on the board. Okay? Now I would take this guy out of here. He's basically killed and I will score a point. Now, note this. Even though the number here, the ratio is different now and logically I should be the winner, since we already resolved this objective, it doesn't matter what happens here. Okay? Now, I'm going to bring these guys back here. Let me see what we're going to do. Now, the defender might not have an ability to regain control here, to keep the control over the land, unless he has certain modifiers that are done via cards. Let's see, so he thinks that, hey, I'm going to lose this battle anyway. I'm going to move all of my guy here so I can kill at least 3 of these people, and heck, let him have the land. So, in this case, what will happen is the yellow guy has the most control, the most units. He will take control over this land. These are the control tokens that we show here. What was that? Right there. We move into the next objective, which again, it's empty at the moment. The blue here has a majority here on the kill. They will kill 3 of these units and they will score accordingly, okay? Another scenario can be, for example, let's see, I'm going to put 2 here and 1 here. So once again, we'll resolve the battle. There's a majority of yellow, yellow putting a token here. Then there's a majority of blue here in this location. There's nothing here from the yellow side. So you can take 1 of these units and hold him prisoner. Okay? And then we keep on moving, and then we can kill 2 people, which these go back to the reserve of this guy. Now, it's not that quite simple. Let's imagine we place it the way that we wanted initially. After we place the miniatures, the tactics card come into play, where every player, beginning with the attacker, gets to choose 1 card to play to affect the battle. Every card here has, let me see here, has a section at the bottom that's called the battle. In this case, I can use this card now to utilize this battle. And this battle says move 1 of your units from 1 battle objective to a different one. And what that means is, there you go. If I decide to play this one, I take it, put it in my discard, and I can move it to the kill. Okay? Doesn't matter if it makes sense what I did or not. Let's say that's what I did. Now, the other player, I'm just grabbing cards here, has the opportunity to play a card, and they decide to play move 1 of your units from anywhere to anywhere. Again, without taking much, I can go and move it there. And then we keep on going until we both pass, and then we resolve. So here again, the yellow unit has 1. We move here. This guy is taken prisoner. Hope it all makes sense. Yellow guy is killing 1 of the units, and that's really it about the battle. Once this is resolved, this moves away. Okay, the units of the attacker go back here. If there are any surviving units of the defender or whomever is lost that needs to retreat, they have to take their unit and move into an adjacent space that is controlled by them. And then there is a scoring based on how many kills that you did. You get 2 victory points for the control of the area. There's things like that that's going on. So that's really the gist of this game. This is really, like I said, it's a basic explanation. I'm not going to go over here. Now here we have 4 decks of what we call terrain card, which each terrain give ability of a certain kind. This one is good on movement. This one is good on building. Each terrain card is indicated here. Now what's good about them is that you can use them in battles as well, but only in the territory of those terrain cards. But they have really good battle objectives. For example, one of them would be add 1 unit from your reserve onto any battle objective. So you can play that. So that can be a quite a surprise element. And another one would be choose one of an opponent's unit on a battle objective. Your opponent must move it to a different battle objective. These are really neat little stuff here. And that's basically it. Now, getting cards, that's another one of the actions that you get to do during your actions. You have the ability to draw 2 cards from any deck, meaning your own deck or those terrain cards. You draw 2 cards from the deck, you look at them, you keep one, you return the other one to the deck you drew it from, and you shuffle. Same thing you do here. You draw 2, take one, return the other one, shuffle here. Now, once you put a card into your deck, you basically drafted it and it becomes a part of your deck permanently. Let's see if there's anything else. I really wanted to keep it brief. Let's just go over how we score this, this is really an important part. One of the ways to score is to actually enable scoring by a player, and you do this during your actions using one of the cards. One of the cards have an action for this one. I'm just going to show it, I'm not going to zoom in, where you can use this card instead of using the movement, build and recruitment icons here. You use the actual action, which means enable scoring. So let's imagine, for example, I enable scoring. I grab this token here, I place it here. Now every round after the battle phase we move into a scoring if a player has enabled scoring. And what that means is that at that point every player scores a point for each region they control. So for example, again, this is just like showing it like that. The yellow will score 1, 2, 3, 4 for each region that they control. Okay? The blue in this case will score only 2. Excuse me. Let me just repeat. The blue is not gonna score anything. I have to rephrase. The way that this works, everybody, and I apologize, everybody score on the crystals in the regions that they control. Once everybody gain a point on every crystal in a region they control, and let's take that for example, there's 3 here, 2, there's 5, the yellow will move 5, and the blue will move only 1, okay? The perk that the person gains who enables scoring, he also gains points on the regions that they control. And since he's the one who enables scoring, him and him alone score points on that. So the yellow controls 1, 2, 3, 4. They will move 4 more. Alright? Once this is done, this token returns to this guy. Alright? And a new round begins by revealing an event. Let's just take a look and see what this event calls. Every player may draw 1 card from any deck. So again, everybody goes in initiative order to draw a card from any deck that they would like, which means their deck and a terrain deck. After the event, we update the initiative, we refresh skills if they were 90 degree, we draw 4 cards, then we move to the action phase. And then we keep on going this way. Now, after all of the events tokens here have been revealed, the last round will be the round where this event is being triggered, which is enable final scoring, which in that case we're going to place this token there. And then all it means is that this is the last round, and at the end, after all the 3 actions and the battle resolutions and everything like that, everybody scores for the crystals and crystals alone, and that would be it. So whomever has the highest point at that moment is the winner. Now let me take a look at the board and see if there's other things that I can just show you that I kind of like neglected to mention that may not be important just to describe the game, but might be important just for other reasons. For example, this region is adjacent to that region. As you can see, there's arrows here. You can go through there. There's an area here, and there's a couple more areas that do the same thing. Let's just go over some of the structures. The airfield, and I'll zoom on that. Let's see if I can zoom on that. Okay, the airfield here, if I build an airfield, that lets me place a control token on an adjacent unoccupied region. And as you can see, this is something that can be pretty nice for the human. And what that means is if I build this structure using this token in this area, alright, I built it and now I'm going to activate it. Once I activated it, it says place a control token on an adjacent unoccupied area. Now, unoccupied means that there are no miniatures on it. That's all what it means. So now I control this one. And that's what I like about the human. The human can do all of this stuff, and then they can use their skill. Their skill can be discard a card from your hand and immediately score 1 victory point for every human controlled region. This is pretty neat, and that's probably my favorite faction, as it seems pretty strong. Let's go over here and see what we can do here. Some battle with pilgrims. Okay, so the pilgrims have this ability. I'm not going to zoom on anything, but they can actually grab crystals, I believe, from regions or from the supply. And their skills, they can spend 1 crystal from their pool and score 1 victory point for each crystal left in your pool. So I guess if you had 5 in the pool here, you spend 1 and you score 4. Alright, let's see here with the machines. The machines are pretty deadly. One of their buildings is the orbital sniper, which their ability is kill 1 enemy warrior or unit in any non-battle region. So that's pretty strong. Another structure, which is the shred drones, is kill 1 enemy unit in any adjacent region, including battle regions. Remember, battle regions are locked regions, but there's an exception here. Let's see, their special skill is move 1 of your structures to an adjacent region you control. Basically, the machine structures are moving structures that can be used in their ability. Just remember that in this game, all you get is maximum 15 actions. It seems a lot, maybe, but it's not really to be able to establish yourself. Once you establish yourself, the game will be over. That's just how this game seems to be working, and that's what makes this game pretty strategic. And that's really all what the game is about. I'm pretty certain I forgot a few things that I had the intention to mention, but I do apologize. You can always ask me in the comments anywhere, and I'll be happy to respond. Also, if you enjoyed this video, I appreciate if you like it, and remember that sharing is caring. Please subscribe to my YouTube video. I would really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.